From freshman year first impression to that very last glimpse, an epic 7-touchdown swan song he authored against Lutheran North, Tri-State football has never quite seen anyone or anything like the Aneyas Williams experience, nor may any of us again at the high school level in our lifetimes. And if we're being candid, to some degree that made the Hannibal High School superstar both the most thrilling and challenging high school football player I have covered in the last 3 decades. The first part of that statement should be self-evident. Aneyas gave us highlights and moments that no one else could, from the very jump of his career. After Aneyas became the first ever sophomore to win Khqa Player of the Year, it also became evident there was a different line to toe with him from a coverage standpoint as well. His talent and exploits dictated that he could and probably should be the headline of every game he played for the rest of his high school career. But also, football is a team game by construct, and in an effort to balance the scales, it sometimes felt like we went out of our way not to overpraise this one uniquely talented kid at the expense of his teammates or other players in the area. To be honest, it was a credit to Aneyas himself that we thought we could get away with doing that. His maturity from the very jump always light years ahead of what it should have been for his age. And his willingness to enthusiastically help champion his own teammates sort of gave us carte blanche to do so. Truthfully, though, it always weighed on me that maybe the legacy of this kid made us a little too blasé about his garden variety 4-touchdown Friday nights. Took him a little too for granted at times at the altar of fairness. That also, to the credit of his competition this year for this award, factored in as well. Any other season, Blaine Bryant and his more than 3,000 yards of rushing and 55 total touchdowns might have run away with this thing. Or Elijah Genenbacher's 2-way contributions to a state championship. Or Braden Little turning a former football purgatory into gridiron heaven with his passing at Quincy High. There were compelling arguments for this award for all 3 of those gents, and yet not a one of them ever quite passed the litmus test of surpassing Mr. Williams on the greatness scale head-to-head. Not in the framework of this single season, and certainly not within the context of historic legacy. In crowning Aneyas Williams, our first ever 2-time winner of this award, let's look with specificity at the 2023 contributions of his senior season. His 46 touchdowns were the second highest combined total in the area, but with the most diverse skew of any local player in achieving them. He caught 17 touchdown passes, rushed for another 26, returned a pair of punts for scores, and delivered a pick 6 on defense. On 212 total offensive touches, he accounted for 2,231 yards of total offense, just over 1,400 hard yards on the ground and better than 800 through the air. Despite his reputation and the defensive attention he received, Aneyas still averaged 18.5 yards per reception and better than 8 yards per carry. All of this, mind you, playing in tandem with a second All-State running back within the offense in Michael Ferreira, which I think speaks volumes about how good Coach Jeff Geschwender became over the last 4 years at using this unique asset without overusing him. The campaign not only earned Williams his 4th straight All-State nod, unanimously this time around, but also a award by the Missouri Coaches Association as the 2023 Class 4 Offensive Player of the Year for the state of Missouri. As compelling as that may all be, it also pales in the shadow of the mountain of his career achievements. On 654 career touches for the Pirates, Aneyas Williams amassed a dizzying 7,504 yards of total offense. Moreover, he scored 152 touchdowns over that span, which is believed to be the second highest total by any player in the history of Missouri football. It is a staggering output and a tremendous springboard into his next evolution in South Bend. That said, it's not just the volume of work here that sets Aneyas Williams apart. It's the manner in which he delivered it, the near universal respect of teammates and coaches he garnered along the way. The ceaseless amount of work he himself turned in, first to maximize his God-given talent, but also to come back from a debilitating junior year collarbone injury that was far more involved than most people realized outside the program. Not to mention the way in which he carries himself among peers, fans, and community members, and the pride that same inspires for the community he represented and will continue to represent at the University of Notre Dame and beyond. but most importantly, the great reflection he has been as a son on how he was raised by both his late father and his unbelievable mother. At times, perhaps, Aneyas Williams seemed almost too good to be true. Not perfect, of course, as none of us are, but the perfect ambassador for what a Hannibal pirate star in any arena of life should be. That he not only set that new standard, but so will lift it for others in the future to follow, might well be his most enduring legacy of all. And so it is for the second time in his once-in-a-century career, we honor Hannibal's Aneyas Williams as your 2023 KHQA Football Player of the Year.